Okay, YouTube, part 2B of the installation for my winch. I have since finished moving the transmission oil cooler line and everything's all secure. Here's a picture where you get a look at it. Let me turn it sideways so that you can actually see what's going on here. What I have done is moved it from way down here. This is where the top of the bumper was. The center of that cooler was 4 inches below the bottom of where the top of the bumper was, right here. So it has essentially moved up. I haven't measured it, but I've moved it between 12 and 15 inches up, something like that. I don't know. But what I've done here, as I showed you before, I added extensions. You can see here I had 15-inch extensions on each side, rubber transmission hose clamped it on, and I grabbed these metal, you can see it better from this angle, these metal brackets here. They've got holes in them every 3/4 of an inch. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick, if it's even that. It's probably something more like 12 gauge. Bent them both as close to identical as I could. Mounted them back in the same original factory mounts, which you can see are still attached to the bottom of the oil cooler, although I have modified them very significantly. And they are bolted to the top. Can't really see it too well with the light here, but if you can see that right there, it is bolted right here in the same factory bolt hole. I had to trim off back here about 1/2 inch of plastic, and also had to trim my steel mount that I had made. There's a piece of, I used to have a pond in my front yard right over there where that red brick is, and the rubber that you see here that I'm using for vibration dampening, right here, there's some right here, and there's some in between the bolts that strap and the factory mount for vibration dampening and for wear. Now, to get this pulled back, because it actually, when I closed my hood, was actually hitting the back of the grill up there. So when I closed it, it was hitting here. So didn't want that, of course. And you still need to get to the hood release latch here. So what I did is I took a piece of 1/4 inch thick bar stock right here. This was an existing hole where this bolt is in this bracket, this factory bracket. I guess it helps hold the radiator in. And it's where the hood latch actually mounts to, along with the hood latch open close sensor, which is right here. So, and then, so I used that same factory hole, measured and drilled 2 more holes in this bar stock, so it would go through the existing holes in this bracket on both sides. Put those in there with some Loctite so that they will not come loose. To get it pulled back, it is stable. I've got approximately, if you can see down in there, that is about 1 inch of space between the back of my mount here and the front of the radiator. It's pretty equal on both sides. And then, but still, after doing that, it was still right up against the back of the grill. So I thought, well, I'll just get some springs because of this plastic mount here. This transmission oil cooler had to be doing some vibration and wiggling around anyways. So I actually went out to get a bottle of wine because I was working hard on it. It took me 5 hours to get that done. Thinking about it, fitting, grinding, fitting, and then refitting and everything. You guys know how it is, those of you out there that do any kind of fabricating at all. So I passed up the hardware store, so I couldn't get the springs. And then I actually, and I'll show you these things, I was looking on mounting solutions for radiator coolers, and I found this product online on Amazon. It was in a bag like this. It was these things with this. Oops, just dropped it on the floor. Get my rubber out of the way. These things, and it had hose clamps in it. And these little push clips here. And what you do, and I didn't know what they were for really. And then it has this extension that comes in it too. And then this is a little pad. It's got sticky tape on one side. Holes, as you can see right there, is already drilled through it. So what you do with these things is you shove them through your radiator, and you use these pads to prevent it from causing damage on your radiator cooling fins. And then you shove this on there and it locks it in place. Now what I did, since I passed the hardware store and I didn't want to turn around and go back, I thought, well, AutoZone's right here. I'm going to drive right past them. I'm going to go in there and see if they have any springs. Well, they didn't have any springs that I liked that was a match. There was one of each throttle springs and other springs in a set, but none of them, none of the packages had two of each. It was all one of each. So then I told the manager, and he says, wait a minute, I might have a solution for you. And he comes back with that package, which actually had 4 of these things in it. So what I have done, in order to pull the top of my radiator back, or the transmission cooler, is that's what you see right there in the front. I drilled 2 holes, if you can see them, right there through that existing bracket. It's kind of hard to see, but I can see it through here. But there's a hole there and there's a hole there. I fit the back side through there, and I cut some rubber pieces because this has got about a 1/2 inch, maybe not 1/2 inch, about a 1/2 inch deep like channel. I found a fat 1/2 inch wide washer, and I drilled a hole in it to fill in that space, and I put a piece of that same rubber that you see here to protect the plastic back here so it doesn't vibrate and rub through and break on me. Shoved it through the fins, shoved it through the holes back there, shoved it through the fins, and put the little rubbery things on here. And now I have this angle that is basically equal with the front end of my truck, which is what I wanted. So now, instead of my the transmission cooler sitting, let's see if I can get this so it's sitting, it was sitting more like out like this. It's kind of hard to tell. It went more like this, about another 15 degrees, the top of it 15 degrees more out this way, which caused interference with my grill. Now it's leaning back. I've got plenty of room down in there, and now it's time to tackle getting the actual winch mount in there, since the transmission cooler lines and cooler have been moved to a good position. I drove down the highway Had to go down to pick up some things downtown, and one direction it's 25 miles, and on my temperature gauges and everything, it was staying within 5 degrees of normal. So, and I don't even have everything put back together the way it's supposed to be yet to vent air up into the front of the motor the way it's supposed to be. So once I get done, everything should be good to go. That's where I'm at so far. I'll keep you updated and let you know once I get this winch done. So y'all have a great day. That's it.